So lately I've been getting the same question over and over, and that question is, how the hell do you make time to be a father, a husband, have a day job, make YouTube videos, and make some music? You see, not everyone is lucky enough to be a full-time musician and actually make a living out of it. But the good news is, there are ways to pursue your passion. So this video is dedicated to all of you who just wish they had a little more time to make music. Well, the good news is, the time is out there, and there are ways to get access to it. So from one part-time musician to another. Hi, welcome to the Midlife Synthesist. Let's get started. Finding time. When I was a kid, I often heard the expression, time is money. And I don't know, it didn't make much sense back then. But now as an adult, I think I'm finally starting to get it. You see, the richest person alive is not someone who has $1 million in his bank account and a Ferrari. Not if, he's losing his hair because of anxiety or, he has to slave away at a desk all day. If you can afford to pay your mortgage, feed your wife and kids, pay your light bill, but still are able to go out on a Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. to go for a little bike ride, you are insanely rich, my friend. I know I can't. The reality is, most of us don't live like that. Most of us have jobs that take up most of our day. And when we get home, a lot of us have other responsibilities. In my case, I have my wife and kids. So where the hell do I find the time to make music, learn new synths, and make YouTube videos? My secret? I don't have one. A secret, I mean. There are a few principles that help push me through all this, and that's what I want to share with you. If, for example, you're finding it hard to get the concentration and time you need to make music at home, the answer is simple. Invest in portability. Now, why is portability a key factor here? The main idea is that you can grab your music studio and take it wherever you go. And that is key if you're short on time at home. Your main objective here is to not be tied down to one physical space. And the good thing about that is I can make music anywhere at any time. So if you have a small window of space that suddenly opens up, you can use it if you have your little musical sketchpad. Now, these devices don't necessarily have to get you to the end product. It's enough for this device to just be able to let you practice and, play around and generally be ready for when inspiration strikes. Then when you get home, you can whip up your VSTs or your big synths and you can finish your song. Now, just to be clear at this point, when I say portable, I mean small and compact, not necessarily standalone, because the Machina Plus or the MPC are standalone devices and they are relatively portable. But they are pretty uncomfortable and you won't be able to fit much more in your backpack. What I'm talking about here is a device that's small enough to not be intrusive. And the thing is, if what you're taking with you is not very practical or make things uncomfortable, then it's going to be harder for you to stick with it in the long run. Instead, if this is a thing that you just take away in your backpack and forget about it, it's more likely that you'll take it with you all the time. Thankfully, the market nowadays is pretty much flooded with some pretty wild alternatives in that category. You have the MC101, my personal favorite, the OP1, Innovation Circuit, the Black Box. The thing is, you have so much to choose from. And as I said before, you can either finish it on this little sketchpad, or you can just come home and make a full-blown song out of this idea you had. Alternatively, it doesn't necessarily have to be a dedicated device. Nowadays, for example, iPads are so powerful that you could pretty much make a whole professional sounding song just on an iPad. Or if you're taking your computer with you, just add a MIDI controller like the Micro MK3, which is wonderful. However, a computer and a MIDI controller, while giving you lots of flexibility, is going to take a little bit more time to set up, and you're going to need to find a table, and it's a bit more of a hassle. So it kind of goes against my point. What I'm talking about is something that you can just turn on and start playing within seconds. The main idea with this device is for you to be able to make music in those little windows of dead space throughout your day. For example, to and from work on the subway, or if your work makes you travel a lot by airplane or bus, or maybe a meeting got canceled and you have 15 minutes that you can take a small break and, try out a chord progression, I don't know. In my case, for example, I found precious, quality, uninterrupted music making time during my lunch breaks. So about 3 times a week, instead of taking my time to eat my lunch, I'll just wolf down a sandwich, and the rest of the time I'll just be jamming on my OP1. If you want to make time to make music, that means that you have to have the willpower to not do other things instead. Will. Now, personally, for diet or exercising, I have no willpower. Just none. But for music making, I'm so passionate about it that it just drives me. This might mean saying no to a buddy when he calls you up for a beer, or not binge watching 3 seasons of the new Netflix series that everyone else is talking about, or maybe not playing that new game on your new PS5. In my case, I used to be hooked on the PlayStation. I could spend hours gaming and I loved it. But there was always this part of me that said, damn it, I wish I had time to make music. Well, the thing is, I actually did have the time. So what I did is that I sold my PlayStation. And, well, the rest is history. So sure, that might seem a little extreme, but the thing is, I didn't have time to do both things. So you should take a really good look at your life and decide what are the things that I'm willing to sacrifice in order to make time to make music. And you know what? You might arrive at the conclusion that you don't want to sacrifice anything for making music. And that's okay too. But at least you'll know, and you'll stop having this anxiety of, damn it, I wish I had more time. Maybe it's just not a priority in this moment in your life. And that's okay. Multitasking. If you're married with kids, you know that the work around the house is never done. There's always a diaper to change, or a dog to walk, or garbage to take out, or a dish to wash. Well, the good news is there are ways to be a great husband and father and still help your musical growth at the same time. For this, you will need the following: a smartphone and a pair of headphones, ideally wireless. The thing is, sitting down and making music is actually just half the process. The other part is actually gaining knowledge and educating yourself. The more you educate yourself, the easier it'll be to make the music that you want to make. So the next time you have to wash the dishes, why don't you do it while you're watching a tutorial on a synth that you're learning how to use? Or how about the next time you have to walk the dogs, you do it while you're listening to a bit of music theory. These small stretches of time really start to add up, and you'd be really surprised at how much you can learn and grow by just watching or listening to 3 or 4 minutes at a time. The thing is, not only will your spouse be very happy because you're helping around the house, but the next time you sit down to actually make music, you'll be faster, more confident, full of ideas because all of these things that you learn and that you now want to put into practice. Teamwork. There is no way in hell that I could do this alone. The only way any of this works is with the support and the help of my amazing wife. Every time I sit down to make music or make a video, she's there taking care of our kids, making sure they don't jump off the roof or burn the house down. This of course goes both ways, and whenever she needs something, I always have her back. But don't get me wrong, I don't have one of those dreamy TV marriages. We argue and we fight a lot sometimes. The thing is, she understands how important this thing is for me. She knows that I need this, that I want this. And believe me, this step is essential, especially if you want to pursue your passion while keeping your family. So just to wrap things up, if you really want to make music, it's not enough that music be your passion. You also have to make it a priority. If you make it a priority, believe me, you will find the time for it. Not only that, the people around you will support you in ways you'll never imagine they could. I hope you found this video useful, or at least entertaining. I'll see you in the next one.